What's going on, y'all? My name's Rob. Welcome back to the Kentucky Chew. Alright folks, appreciate y'all tuning in. Welcome back to another series moving along in this budget bourbon brawl. We have made our way to the final few pairings of this first round. And just to recap a little bit, we did start with 16 whiskeys. With the name Budget Bourbon Brawl, we are looking for what the most bang for your buck, the budget bangers, what's the best value in whiskey right now. And it's been interesting so far. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little bit surprised. Based on the comments that I'm reading, you all are just as surprised as I am. Good part is, if you do take my word on a few of these bottles and you go buy one, at least it wasn't the most expensive product in the world if you didn't enjoy it. So, but let me know either way. We're down to the last round, or the last few battles of the first round. From here, we will know what our Elite 8 is, and as we move forward. So, let's go ahead and get started and see which bottles we have today. So here's what we've got. Here are the whiskeys for the lineup today. As you can see, we do have a few heavy hitters in there. And what I mean by that is there are two allocated bottles, and so I did say in the beginning, if this is your first time tuning in and you see these and I'm on here talking about budget bourbon and value and stuff you can find, there were a few of these thrown in there. As far as I know, I don't think that these are that readily available nationwide. I am curious to know for some of our viewers who are in other states how easy it is, or not as easy, for you to find Weller and Buffalo Trace, so give me a comment there. But yeah, I am aware that those two are hard to find. I did throw them in here just for the purpose of, to be honest, I hope neither one win. I like them. They've been good staples for me in my collecting, in my path of collecting, but I'm kind of hoping that something different will surface as the winner here. Wouldn't be surprised if either one goes very far, but we'll see. We're going to do this blind, and with that, let's get to chewing. Here's the first pairing of the night. We do have Buffalo Trace in this one. It's a classic. It's a staple. People love it. Some people think it's overpriced. It's not worth the hype. It's not worth the craze. Let me know which side you fall on. For me, it's a good staple. This is a good product, and it's good for what the price is. Is it overhyped? Sure. Yeah, this should be readily available in my opinion. It's not, but that doesn't mean it's not good. I think this catches a lot of hate just because it has become hard to find, but for me personally, this is a pretty good one in my opinion in an old fashioned. If you're gonna do a cocktail in general, I think Buffalo Trace is pretty good, or if you're gonna sip on it neat. So I think it's pretty versatile in that way. And so obviously, this does come out of the Buffalo Trace distillery. It is 90 proof. It's closer to that $30 price range, creeping into $35. And honestly, I'm seeing this sit on the shelf here in Kentucky a lot more. You'll see it anywhere from $35 to $50, just depending on where you're at. But it is starting to sit a little bit longer. So maybe it's making a comeback where we'll be able to pick it up again easily. On the other side here, the newcomer, the newbie, the new guy on the shelf, Green River. I actually did a review on this bottle, so check out that video and let me know what you think about it. Coming out of Owensboro, Kentucky. If you're able to, go pick this one up. This probably isn't going to be readily available either in all of North America. I'm hoping it'll make its way out to other people so they get to enjoy it, because honestly, I really like this. It's a good product. The price point it came out at is refreshing to see for a new bottle, and it's good. Both of these are wheated whiskeys. This is a wheated product, so I feel like that would be a good comparison. It'll be a little bit difficult. It's going to be hard to do. Also 90 proof. So let's just see. On paper, these are very similar products. Both coming out of Kentucky. The wheated, the 90 proof. And we'll find out here just shortly which one we think is better. So with that, folks, let's get to chewing. And this first glass here is definitely light. It's giving me nothing crazy, just your traditional notes that you would get with a whiskey. I'm getting a very, very faint scent of oak. The nose makes me think it's going to be pretty sweet on the taste. Not getting any vanilla, not getting any caramel, nothing like that are pretty popular notes in whiskey. To me, it smells sweet, like it's gonna be a fruity sweetness. Let's give it a taste. Happy chewing, folks. All right, first sip of the night. It definitely was sweet from start to finish. You know, the finish stuck out to me the most on that initial sip. It held on pretty long. Okay, that second sip brought it to life more. Picked up a little bit more of that traditional whiskey taste. I'll say like the oak, the vanilla that you would look for might be in there, just a hair. Really just getting a sweet profile, like just a very light sweetness. Easy to drink. That's what I'm getting on that. I'm gonna leave that there for a second. I'm gonna move on to the second just to give a comparison. See if we get anything different. Okay, that's weird. This glass does not smell nearly as sweet as the first one. I'm getting a little bit of peanut in this one, which I don't think I should be getting on either one of these, but for some reason I am. A little bit more oak in this one. Weeded whiskeys are gonna be a lot more tame, I think is a good word, compared to obviously rye or, you know, something that's gonna have a lot of like a heavy corn. That's not uncommon for these to drink lighter, but for something in this one's giving me just a sweetness with peanut mixed in there, or some kind of nut. I think I get a slight hint of cherry too in this one. Yeah, definitely cherry. I'm gonna say cherry. Okay, get a little taste. Okay, palate's getting warmed up. We're gonna go back and forth. This might be my hardest round. You know, this last one I did all the bottled and bonds. There was a lot of different flavor profiles in those 4 that I did. Check out that video if you missed it. A few surprises in that one too, for sure. I think that one is a little more grainy. That is a word you'll hear sometimes with people reviewing whiskey. Usually if they think it tastes a little bit younger, and you know, closer to the 4-year mark, more than likely. The main thing that's standing out to me between these two is they do taste very different. Some similarities, but like they are very different. Someone who's probably an experienced bourbon drinker would probably be able to differentiate exactly which one's which, but there's definitely some differences in them. Both definitely have a sweet profile to them. I don't know why I'm picking up peanut in the other one, but it adds like a little bit more of a flavor complexity to it, which I like and I enjoy. The finish is very similar in both. This one smells fuller. Still kind of smells young, but they both do now that I'm going back and forth. This one I think is just a fuller scent. Gives me the thought that maybe it's a little bit more well-rounded than the first one. Golly, this is hard. This is difficult. So I think I'm gonna go with the first glass. It's got a little bit of the sweeter scent to it that I picked up and noted while going back and forth with them. It smelled well-rounded. It kind of smelled younger. Just smelled a little bit more grain forward. So for that reason, I'm gonna go with this first glass, which is Buffalo Trace. So not too surprising. I think anyone watching this would assume that Buffalo Trace would win this first round, but you know, it was close. Green River is a pretty good product for being brand new, but for this purpose of this video, Buffalo Trace is moving on. Green River is staying behind. All right, folks, here's the next round. We got Weller Green Label, or Weller Special Reserve, and then Larceny Small Batch. Old Weller here is definitely a go-to of mine. I do enjoy it. The Green Label Weller, just for me, it was the first bottle gifted to me when I started my collection. So it's always gonna be cool for me. I'm always gonna, you know, enjoy this product. And then we got it going up against the Larceny Small Batch here. I have not had this, to be honest. When I first started collecting, I don't even remember what it was at this point, but I did try a Larceny product, and I did not care for it as much. I was very new into collecting and was naive, and so I thought that meant I didn't like Larceny stuff at all, and I thought that with other bottles and other brands and things like that, and I've come to find out that is not the case. And so the reason these two are being paired with each other, again, they're both weeded products, and so that's why I have these going up against each other, just like the Buffalo Trace and the Green River. Weller Green Label is 90 proof also, and then the Larceny comes in at 92 proof, so just a little bit higher, but very, very similar, both being weeded at that proof point. And so let's see what we got. pretty similar stuff from the first round. This is definitely proving to be the hardest round out of the first 16 bottles as far as comparing, because they all seem to be very similar. I feel like I'm getting a richer note with this, like a chocolatey rich, but not chocolate, if that makes sense at all. I'm sure it doesn't, but it just smells richer. Like the fruits and the oak with it are just a little bit more vibrant. Yeah, I mean, if you give this a moment and really inhale, it's definitely got a more jam-packed fruit nose with this, and a slight hint of vanilla. I'm finally getting some vanilla in some of the products that we're tasting tonight. So let's go ahead and give it a whirl, or a chew. Nice. So this one's got a good mouthfeel, a warm fruit flavored mouthfeel, and that's nice. I like that. That's a nice finish, lingers on just long enough, a little bit longer than an 8-second ride, so pretty good so far. Yeah, just the traditional stuff you look for in a whiskey product, folks. You got some vanilla, you got a little hint of cherry for me. Not really too much oak though. Again, weeded, tamer, that checks out, but really nice, really good pour. I'm digging that one. So let's move on to the second one. I will say, Larceny's bottle is pretty cool though. Felt like I was kind of being a hater there when I first started talking about it. So they do have a pretty interesting and cool bottle. These are very similar. That is very close. Let me know if you've ever compared these before. This is a first for me. If anything, the glass I'm holding smells a bit sweeter. Sweeter in a way if you chewed on like a cherry gummy of some sort, like a cherry candy, like candy sweet almost. No oak. I'm not getting any oak in this nose. Yeah, and the taste, wow, this thing is sweet. Good grief. It's almost like too sweet. This thing is a sweet bomb, folks. It's not bad. I'm just not getting any oak flavor, no vanilla, which I am not saying is a bad thing. I don't want that to come across as a bad thing, just different. Sweet and young. Yeah, I mean, definitely drinks like it's a younger product. Finish is gone, and I am just stuck on some kind of cherry cough syrup note in that. I don't think I'm getting much more with it, to be completely transparent with you all. Yeah, I mean, going back and forth, comparing them, this one definitely smells more like a whiskey. It definitely has a lot of fruit with it, don't get me wrong. Both have a very heavy, sweet profile to them, but this one does have some oak with it at least, and is giving you some more of the traditional scent when it comes to whiskey. And now that I'm going back and forth, I do get a hint of vanilla in this one, and ever so slightly caramel. So I like that. That's well balanced. That's what we want. I'm just gonna give this one more sip just to make sure I'm not crazy. Tell you what, if you got a cough coming on, drink whatever's in this glass. You can probably tell which way I'm leaning based on all of everything I've just expressed there. So I'm definitely going with the first glass. Let's see what that is. Okay, so that is Weller Special Reserve, and I am relieved. I was getting a little worried there for a second, honestly. I was like, oh boy, if I just said all this and that turns out to be Weller. That is not the case, but that's a first for me. Larceny small batch. I've never had that before. If you have by chance tried that product and you've tasted it and it comes out that sweet for you, let me know, or just let me know if something's wrong and I need to go to the doctor. That was like a fruit bomb just exploded. That concludes our first round of the Budget Bourbon Brawl. Really appreciate all of you tuning in. This has been a lot of fun for us. So now we have moved on to the Elite 8. We will kick that up next week, and we'll be putting those videos out. So stay tuned as we figure out what is the best budget bourbon on the market. What's the best value, bang for your buck. So cheers, folks. Happy chewing.